Hello everyone. Do you want to hear a love story? Great! I knew you would want to. Now, let's go all the way to a classic love story about a man whose love was so strong that he worked for years just to marry her. Figured out what story that is? Hold up. Hello?
Isn't it that story about Jacob, Rachel, and Leah?
Now it is. So, I will tell you about... Okay, can you tell me a little bit about that story? I forgot what it's about.
Really? Do you at least know who the main characters are and where you can find the story?
Of course I do. So there's Jacob, the husband, Leah, the oldest daughter of his uncle whom he marries, Rachel, the woman Jacob is madly in love with, and his uncle Laban. I have to say, Laban is very deceitful, so who marries who again? And hold up, I know where it is. It's in the Bible, in the book of the Genesis, and I'm lost on what chapter it is and lines they're on.
Oh, God help me. So let me see. You're partially right. It is in the Genesis, in the Bible, but it also starts on chapter 29 through 30. Got it? Okay, let's get moving. Now we should start with the story since you don't have a clue what happened. Jacob is the father of 12 tribes who becomes a very important figure in the Bible.
His name also means supplanter, or one who grabs. Plus he changes his name to Israel later on.
Okay. So Jacob later on is sent by his father to look for a wife.
This all took place in a place called Harn, which is present-day Turkey.
Could you stop interrupting? I'm trying to tell a story.
I'll be back.
So let's continue.
Now Jacob continued on his journey, and he came to the land of the sons of the east. And he looked, and he saw a well in the field. And behold, 3 flocks of sheep were lying there beside it, for from that well they watered the flocks. Now the stone on the mouth of the well was large. And when all the flocks were gathered there, they would then roll the stone away from the mouth of the well and water the sheep, and put the stone back in its place on the mouth of the well. So Jacob said to them, "My brothers, where are you from?" And they said, "We're from Haran." So he said to them, "Do you know Laban, the son of Nahor?" "Oh yes, we know him." And he said to them, "Is it well with him?" And they said, "It is well, and here is Rachel his daughter coming with the sheep." So Jacob said, "Behold, it is still high day, for it is not time for the livestock to be gathered. Water the sheep, and go and pasture them." But they said, "We cannot until all the flocks are gathered, and they roll the stone from the mouth of the well. Then we will water the sheep." So while he was still speaking with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she was a shepherdess. When Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban his mother's brother, Jacob went up and rolled the stone from the mouth of the well, and watered the flock of Laban his mother's brother. Then Jacob kissed Rachel, and lifted his voice and wept. And Jacob told Rachel that he was a relative of her father, and that he was Rebekah's son. So she ran and told her father. So when Laban heard the news of Jacob his sister's son, he ran to meet him, and embraced him, and kissed him, and brought him to his house. Then Jacob related to Laban all these things that were happening. And Laban said to him, "Surely you are my bone and my flesh." So Jacob stayed with him for a month. Then Laban said to Jacob, "Because you are my relative, should you therefore serve me for nothing? Tell me, what shall your wages be?" Now Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the older one was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. And Leah's eyes were weak, but Rachel was beautiful, both of form and of face.
I'll stay here and work for you if you'll let me marry Rachel.
So Jacob stayed and worked 7 years for the woman he loved. After 7 years of hard work, it was finally time for Jacob's wedding. Everyone got dressed. The bride wore a heavy veil over her face. It was so heavy that Jacob couldn't see through it.
To be your bride.
I do.
And now, blessed by God, you are man and wife.
You guessed it.
You was right.
Laban had tricked Jacob. Rachel was not under the veil. It was her sister Leah instead.
So did he get the girl?
Yeah, but she dies after giving birth to her second son, Benjamin.
That's really sad.
Well, he does have other wives, though. Actually, before she died, God made Leah pregnant, so Jacob would love her more. In fact, she bore him 3 sons.
Really?
Yeah, but Rachel was still his favorite.
Wow. Love is really a great wonder and phenomenon. Love is one of the most powerful things out there. It's so powerful. It's amazing what it does.
What a great story. But about that great stone you mentioned, how do you lift that is the real mystery? How do you do it? Also, how did you get tricked into marrying Leah, and how come God made Leah pregnant and made Rachel incapable?
Well,
scientifically speaking, the stone couldn't have been all that big considering it's over a well. So that great stone is probably just light enough for a regular man to handle. The way he was tricked was because, according to tradition, men were not allowed to look at women's faces until after their consummation of marriage. And to answer that pregnancy question, not all women can get pregnant at certain times. Plus, Leah is older, causing her body to have matured more.
no, science isn't the way to explain this.
Actually, it tells you everything about every bit of this story.
Well, you can believe that, but in the heart of many people, your scientific explanations don't mean anything to me, because I believe in the word of the Bible and God did have a say in all of this.
We will now go to the end credits.